Hi, my name is Yaroslav, and this is
Riaz.
yeah, and we're both from Knowledge Stack, and so we're kicking out a bit of a different series over the next 2 weeks. We'll see how it goes. It's something that you guys might be interested in watching, and the series is going to be called under a beta name of SharePoint 2013. The real world, something like that, right? So there's a lot of discussions online, right, that are happening about SharePoint 2013 and how to do this, how to do that, and set it up. So we kind of wanted to give a real world sort of steps of some of the things that some of the resources that you would find online, and how you would use them to actually set up your demo machine, set up the environment, start on some development, etc., showcase some capabilities and stuff like that. And we're only going to be using online resources. We're not going to use any Trucker or anything else. So any gotchas that we encountered, you will know all about those as well. So Riaz, you took a look at some of the...
So yeah, I started by looking at the release yesterday, and it has some prerequisites to it. I thought that we would start with, since 2013 is a brand new platform, the prerequisites on the operating system are Windows Server 2008 R2 or Windows Server 2012. So I thought maybe we should give 2012 a try and see how it goes. So as a part of today's demo, what we're going to do is we're going to try and set up a Windows Server 2012 and just set up the base VM so that we could start installing SharePoint and see how our experience goes from there.
Okay. So today we're not gonna take a look at the installation of SharePoint 2013, just setting up a base VM.
Just setting up a base VM for Windows Server 2012.
Because I bet a lot of you guys haven't seen 2012 yet. And general availability is going to be sometime in September. Microsoft announced, and for enterprise subscribers in August. So. Something to think about. It's upcoming product.
And it is very different. That was the other reason I picked Windows Server 2012, is because it is not the native server that we're used to working with. The interface is a lot different. The functionality is a lot different. So it would be a nice start, because when you're installing a fresh 2013 SharePoint, you want to start with the latest technology, not really work with 2008 servers at that
Let's see it.
So let's get started. I have a virtual machine here. I downloaded the virtual hard drive from Microsoft site for Windows Server 2012, and I've attached the hard drive to a virtual machine. And we're just gonna start the virtual machine right now and go through the steps and see what's involved with actually doing the installation of Windows Server 2012.
Right. So you're remotely connected to a host machine, right?
Yes.
And that host machine is Hyper-V enabled and all of that? Okay.
Yes. So we'll go through some steps. Some of the basics that you want to set up when you're working with Hyper-V is once you install the server, how do you change the server name? How do you add the server to the domain? Once you add the server to the domain, then how do you enable your remote desktop usage? How do you add your users to the administrator groups? And just the basics that you need to be in place before you can start installing SharePoint.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, I definitely like the new spinning logo.
Yes, much better than all the other crap that it used to show before.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a first start, right?
Yes.
Fresh start.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes,
I know that you've done this yesterday, so you have a machine in a much better state, but this is important for everybody else to see.
Yes, I wanted to try it one time. Just don't want to shock everyone on the first go. So I did give it a try yesterday to make sure that things are going to fall in place for today.
Yeah. Cool. And we're going to cut some of those things, that took longer, but because I'm sure nobody's going to want to see the spinning wheel for too much.
Yeah. And overall, it's not too bad. It takes a good like 10 minutes or so.
Okay, to set up the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not too bad, but
Okay.
yeah, again, we'll probably be cutting some.
So it's all. I'm gonna jump a little bit. It's all. I don't like how it's like giving you the anticipation. Oh, there you go. Okay.
Right.
Okay, so that's just some
So,
general
just
license
licensing.
agreement, and since
Yeah.
you read it yesterday, right?
Yeah. Yes, I read the whole agreement.
Yeah, you
Yes,
read
I
the whole
did.
agreement.
I
The buttons
passed-
are bigger, right? So it's definitely touch enabled.
Yes, that's the new like the Microsoft way, right?
Yeah.
It has to be touch aware, is what they're kind of marketing it as. So we are in Canada.
Cambodia. I'm sure not in Cambodia. No.
We are in Canada,
Okay.
and let's go next. Our typical password
No, whatever.
for us.
What's that thing that showed up right there? Is this like some sort of a eye? Was it retina scan or something? What is that?
So
That's weird.
I think because it's going to be touch enabled or touch aware, there's going to be different options for you to set your password.
Maybe fingerprint reader or something.
Probably.
Okay, that's cool. It looks
So-
like an eye, so it looks like a retina scan. It's very secure. What is it? A password one?
Well, we have very strict password
Oh,
policies,
right,
so we have to kind of comply with some of those.
Yeah, and that's probably what you're gonna have to do in your corporate
Yes.
environment as well. Okay. So it's just like a typical sort of
Yes.
private setup. It's gonna launch. your
Yeah,
desktop.
it just asks you for very minimal information. As we saw, there's not too many prompts, not really, telling you to set the date and the time, because a lot of those things it can pick up on the fly,
yeah, exactly.
right? So it's kind of skipped all those steps. Just lets you set the password, lets you pick the country, and it will pick up the devices, drivers, install the drivers, and we're ready to roll.
Oh, look! Wow.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
new Metro style.
Yes.
Control Delete to sign in. That's
Yes.
nice.
So there we go. There's our.
You can probably click View and then a full screen. Yeah. It's not
So-
much different, but whatever. A little better.
There we go. I will have to
Oh, but can you do Control?
come out of the full screen view.
Again, yeah.
Um,
I think it's Windows. You can do Windows Control, Windows Alt Delete or something like that. Windows Alt Delete.
No.
Control. Oh, now you locked yourself out. Yeah, you're gonna have to. I'm sure there is some sort of a shortcut for that.
yeah.
Hey, you know, and the weird thing is that if you're in a touch,
Yeah.
how can you? Just double click on this thing. How can you and press this?
Yeah.
How can you do Control Alt Delete? That would be interesting.
Yes. That's. I think that's where the retina scan or the facial
Something.
scan would be in place. But again, you're working with the server, so you really. Well, on the touchscreen computers, you would have the keyboard that flies in.
Right. Yeah.
Whenever you need to. So I'm just going to switch to the full screen view again.
Yeah.
And we go in with the password.
Okay.
Enter. Preps
Okay.
my desktop for the first time.
Well, that message box looks like an old one.
Yes.
All right.
And there's our 2012 Windows Server. If you notice, the start button is gone, just like the
no.
Windows 8.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Well,
okay.
it's not really the start button.
Oh, okay. So how are you going to access your programs? That's a bit of a. Was
So-
it annoying? A little bit annoying.
It is very different. So it is following the Windows 8 theme, which is the charms. You go to the left top corner and you'll start seeing these menu
right.
options where you would go into the
So
settings.
there's a start there. What does that do?
So that start takes you to the Metro style UI.
Oh, okay.
So you can switch between the Metro UI
Oh, okay.
and you can go back to your desktop.
I can
UI.
see this as a bit of annoying at first.
It
But
would be.
It's like SharePoint with ribbon, right? It's maybe people may get used to it.
I think on the servers it might be an overkill, but again,
Yeah.
the base framework is the same, so they had to implement it everywhere. As we see, the dashboard is the one that comes up right away. The server manager, it's very different from the server manager we're used to seeing before. It seems to be touch enabled, as you noticed. The bigger buttons everywhere. So your quick starts, your what's new, even these seem to be like touch aware.
Okay, so let's add ourselves to the domain, or you wanted to get rid of.
So when I install the servers, I don't like to see any red flags that come up right away. So it's complaining about the server role, and the file server role is not configured correctly out of the box.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go.
Very, that would be too.
Yeah,
easy,
that would be too easy.
Come on, you gotta have some challenge. You can't just
Yeah, so I'm gonna go and add the role just to make sure.
Okay.
That everything is in place.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I'm gonna do it on the selected machine. It is the file.
So that role is required by default?
Yes, it is enabling you the file server, the server as a file server.
Okay.
But then it is not enabling the role.
Oh, okay. So it was enabled, features. But you don't have to have it, right?
You don't have to have it. You can disable that role.
Oh, okay.
For the server, and that way it should be.
So either
fine.
Or disable it or just make it.
One of the other features that I came across when I was doing this is that you don't have to wait for the installation or the features to complete. You can actually just close this window and it's still processing in the background. So that was another thing that Microsoft was promoting, was a lot of background tasks.
Right.
And if you ever want to go back to it, you could go from the notification area. Here's the feature installation, and it is successful.
Hey, you know what I wonder? How sometimes you uninstall multiple applications? If you can do that, because before it used to be like, hey, finish your old installation. You probably
that would be
come
interesting.
Across,
no, I haven't tried that, but that would be interesting because in that case, you're actually removing a lot of files from the file system, and there could be dependencies that cause some issues. But Microsoft is big time on background processing now, so you don't have to wait for that scroll like the bar to complete or the ticker to keep going round and round until you're done.
So multitasking has finally kicked in 15 years or 17 years after the announcement. Or whenever that was. Windows 95, was it the first one? Or when was it first? That was before my time, probably.
Yes.
Before my professional time.
Is when multitasking was introduced. But
it was really for real now, right?
Right.
Okay. So slowly getting...
So there we go. I just started a BPA, Best Practice Analyzer. That's the notifications that we're seeing here. Are all BPA related. Cannot get BPA results. So that's where I started. Right now, again, it's all in the notification area. It's done.
It would be cool if it gave you like a little bit more proactive notification that it's done. But oh well. Yeah,
I think it is.
Next version.
Just the notification area, and you keep monitoring it for tasks.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So it seems like things are green now.
Yeah, so things are green. Your local server, your file storage, everything looks fine. That's how I like to see it.
A bit of an exercise before you actually get started.
Yes. So the first thing you want to do, now because I added a virtual hard drive to my Hyper-V image. It comes up with its own computer name.
Okay.
So we need to make the changes to make sure that it's a logical computer name that we're working with. So I would change the computer name to something friendlier with our organization, which is this is a virtual server, and we're going to call it 086.
Yeah,
that's the number. I'm going to add it to my domain.
Okay.
My domain is dev.kdc.net.
Okay.
It's going to ask me for credentials to join the domain. Which I'm going to add my credentials.
Okay, so that's standard
So
stuff.
there you
that
go.
would wanna-
Welcome to the domain. It's
Awesome.
going to ask me to reboot.
Okay. And you have to.
But yeah, so I'm just going to quickly reboot, and then we're going to add users from the KDC domain, so that all our users can access the server, or the administrators can access the server.
Do you have to add enable remote login or
Yes,
something like
yes.
that?
So we will enable remote desktop as well on the server, so we can actually now don't have to connect it through the VM host. We can remote desktop to the server and start using it.
So those are two remaining tasks left.
Yes.
Adding users and
Enabling remote desktop.
And that's sort of stuff that you want to do, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're working from home, you don't want to
Yeah.
remote to your machine, and then you probably
Yeah.
want to have a central server somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but whatever.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
kind of like.
yeah. These are some of the basics. Like
Basic
people
stuff.
who are more into infrastructure like to work directly on the machine, not really go through the host and then onto the machine and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm one of those people.
So right now we're gonna still
login is
log in as the machine
Yeah, 'cause we haven't set up
administrator.
any users yet.
No.
Okay.
And now that we're in the server, you go to the
pretty
local
fast.
server.
It's
It is.
fast,
It
I
is
know.
very light. It is very light. Again, thanks to all the background processing and multitasking that's happening in the background and not really making us wait
Right.
until things start working.
Oh, there's
So
remote
there's
desktop.
remote desktop. It's disabled
Okay.
by default.
Okay.
We're gonna allow it.
Okay.
And we're going to allow connections only from the computers running remote desktop with network level authentication.
Okay.
That's the one that's recommended, so we're
Okay.
going to stick to it.
Okay.
We're going to add users who can remote desktop into it.
Okay. Cool.
And
we can add like AD role here, right? Or something.
Yes,
AD
yes,
group.
groups.
So in case you have like devs that are going to be accessing this machine, rather than adding them individually, you can add those.
Yes.
I guess, right? Okay, that's good to know.
So yeah, you could add like say domain users. I could say KTC slash.
Okay, cool.
And basically all domain users have
Anybody.
access to
Yeah.
remote to this machine. So remote desktop is enabled. The other thing we also need to do is, because all of these users are on the server and have access to remote desktop however don't have roles on the server itself.
Right.
So this is when we would want to go to manage users on the server,
Right.
and then give make someone an administrator, make
Right.
some users as regular users.
And is that
domain
required
users.
for them to be able to actually successfully log in?
Yes, you need a role on the
Right,
server.
okay.
Well, you will be able to log in, but you won't be able to do a lot of tasks. You might
Okay.
be a generic user.
Right. Well, okay. Well, can we add me, let's say, as some sort of
Yes, so
some
let's
user
do
role
that.
that's a little bit of permissions there. Give me some permission love there.
One of the other things to keep in mind is that some of the tasks that we used to do with
Ribbon.
with the start button
Okay.
is kind of moved to the ribbon. So the ribbon will give you some of the features. Some of the features are right here. So you would
Okay.
say use
Okay.
tools, and you would go to computer management. That's where your users
Okay.
and computers. So like the administrative tools, the whole shebang, all the options on the administrative tools is now moved to
now
the tools
gone
here.
here.
So these
it
are all,
makes
this is all you
sense.
had there.
Makes sense, but definitely for someone who's done it, who's logged, who's used past systems,
Yes.
it's going to be a huge transition. Because last time this sort of transition happened was with, there was a bit of amalgamation of start menu earlier, but this is like huge. This is the removal of the famous start button.
Right.
So some people are going to get annoyed with that, but what can you do?
Yep. Well, the biggest annoyance I would show you in a bit
Okay.
is
Okay, cool.
so there you go.
Thank
I just
you.
added you to the administrator group, and now
Now
you
we
should
can
be
pretty much
able to
log in.
remote desktop directly to the machine.
So what's the big annoyance?
The big annoyance is because the start button is gone.
Yeah.
How do you shut down this machine?
Oh yes, how do you shut down? I remember you telling me that yesterday.
And it is quite a find for people who've used
You
Windows
just
8
unplug
before. For people who've used Windows 8 before, they will kind of go and figure it out.
Yeah.
But for someone who's as new, will have to go and find that shutdown button, which is hidden under the charms in settings and power.
I guess for server, that's important, right? Because you don't want to shut down your server by accident or something.
No, but even your regular machines, it's the same place
really?
now.
Settings?
Yes.
Why is it in settings? Is
Yes.
the machines are never meant to turn off anymore?
Yes.
Anyways, okay, that's good to know.
And then again, just as your server
enough.
requires, like, why are you shutting it down, and we would
Right.
just say application maintenance planned.
So any gotchas that you found with this thing? Like when you were setting it up, any kind of like bunch of messages? You know how sometimes you download this stuff from Microsoft website
No.
and everything was
No, everything is pretty clean and smooth, at least on the Windows Server side.
thumbs up from Microsoft.
I have also tried to download Office.
Okay.
That has been taking me for a ride because I think Microsoft is really trying to sell Office as Office 365 components. So
Right.
every time I tried to do something, and it would take me around to like signing up for Office 365. But I have found a way around and I have downloaded the MSI
And you
on
will
installing.
you have to wait for that tomorrow, or whenever we're gonna have a chance to
yes.
take a look at that. But with so this is a preview. 2012 is a preview,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And Office is a preview as
Yes,
well. So as you
yes.
know, right? For now.
Yes, so I think as a next step, we're going to go through and install Office and SQL Server, which is kind of the prerequisite or the base to install SharePoint. So we'll have another video on installing, or actually we might even show downloading of the MSI package that you can run to
How
install
exciting is that?
Office, and then installing SQL Server and prepping for the final SharePoint installation.
Cool. I think that'll be a real good sort of walkthrough for everybody watching this. Apart from us making fun of it and stuff like that, there's some real live gotchas. Less in this one because it was smooth,
Yes.
right? More
Yes.
in the other one, but that's kind of going to walk through and kind of make you feel like, okay, it's okay that you're getting those errors too.
Yes.
Because some of the pros got those errors too. So. All right, well, Riaz, thank you very much. I know you spent some time yesterday taking a look at that, and we'll throughout. So thank you very much. And if people want to get a hold of you, how do they get a hold of
They
you?
can get in touch with me here at Knowledge Tech. My email address is rlakani@knowledgetech.ca.
We'll post this there.
Yeah, send me emails and I'll be happy to
Are
respond.
you sure you? All right. Well, maybe you'll create a Twitter account.
Sure.
That way it's easier to manage your ever-growing fan.
That's one of the things that I never caught on to is Twitter.
All right. Thanks everyone for
Thank you.
joining us, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow or next few days.
Take care. Bye.